then what about the building? All right, so we need to know a few things about the building. So this is important. Sublease policy. Sublease policy. Are they allowed to sublease the unit ever? Sometimes, or, is it a year from now? Do you have to live there for 2 years? Do they allow sublease? Maybe not at all. Um, the sublease can also say, all right, you have to live there for 2 years, then you can sublease for a year, but then you have to move back in. And then you can't sublease again for another 4 years. Like, so there's a lot of different sublease policies out there. So that's why it's important for you to know, because this is a big question that people get when they buy co-ops. Um, Pet policy. You want to, when you're working with your buyers or you have buyers coming in to look, it would be really upsetting for you to accept somebody's offer or get your offer accepted just to find out that they have Fluffy the cat and the building doesn't accept pets. Okay, so it's important to know the pet policy in the building. Some buildings accept pets, dogs and cats. Some just accept cats. Some accept dogs and cats, but only certain breeds of dogs or weight limits of dogs. So there's a lot of things that you need to know surrounding that pet policy. Open house policies. Some buildings do not allow open houses. Some of them require that you have two people, one downstairs, one upstairs in the unit. So it really depends. You need to know the open house policy. Down payment requirement. I would say, as a general rule of thumb, most co-ops require 20% down. There are a few co-ops that require only 10%. There are a few co-ops that require 25%. You need to know the building that you're selling in, what they require. And let me just say something real quick. If there are other co-ops listed, right, and you look in the MLS and you're like, oh, I see that, Susie from this office, posted a listing, whatever, last year, last month, whatever it is. And then you call the management, you may get totally different information because you know what Susie did? She looked at a co-op that was listed a year ago or 2 years ago, and she just added in because she was too lazy to call the management. Do the right thing. Call the management, ask the owner, hey, what is the correct information? Have the correct information. Plus, co-ops change managements, change boards. Things happen, things change all the time. So you need to make sure you have the most relevant information. Okay. Is there a doorman? Is there a bike room, a recreational room, gym, laundry, right? There's a place on the MLS you could put, is it coin operated? Is it card operated, right? They get fancy. This is a big one. The mortgage ability in the co-op, right? So the couple of things on the bottom here, you need to know owner occupancy, because this is one of the reasons why perhaps lenders will not lend in the building. Sometimes you have to find out, maybe the financials are not great, so lenders are not lending in the building. There are certain instances where people have said, oh yeah, it's a cash building, but they're close to that mark where there's enough owner occupants, so there might be some banks that are lending. So it really depends. You have to find out, is this co-op, are you able to get a mortgage in this building? Okay. Flip tax. Flip tax is another one that is, could kill a deal, right? If you don't find out if there's a flip tax in the building, and then you post the listing for sale, somebody comes in, oh my God, they find out that there's a flip tax. Oh, the buyer has to pay the flip tax, right? And then they go for the mortgage, and then the bank says, oh, well, we don't lend on buildings that have this flip tax, X amount of flip tax, right? This has happened before. I've experienced a lot of these things. Owner occupancy, as I mentioned before, is a big one as well because that affects the mortgageability. Handicap access. This is good to know. If you put no and then there is, that's fine. If you put yes and then there isn't, that could be an issue. But it is good to know if there is handicap access. The total units in the building. This is also another good one to have. Assessments is important. Assessments. So perhaps they are putting a $50 assessment for 6 months, which means that for the next 6 months, everybody pays an extra $50 on their maintenance, because they are fixing the whatever elevator, right? I'm going to make it up. So you need to know if there's a current assessment and how long it will be, or if there are any upcoming assessments, and what the maintenance includes. So in most co-ops, right? Most co-ops, it's going to include heat, hot water, and taxes. Now, there are some co-ops that have their own boilers in every unit. So in that case, it would not include heat. There are, I mean, I've seen all kinds of things happen. So, and then there are, certain things like those garden apartments, like one pictured here. Does it include garden maintenance? Does it include snow removal? Things like that. So in those garden apartments, it's important to know that.